movie begins in Brooklyn, New York in the year 2039. A man named Darius is cleaning solar panels on the roof. His sensor tells him that his oxygen levels are at 20%. He tells his father, who wandered into a library, that they're going back inside in 2 minutes. He's getting a book for his granddaughter. At this time, the oxygen levels on Earth are uninhabitable, and plant life is non-existent. His father, who's still in the library, suddenly falls through the floor and his oxygen tank becomes disconnected. Darius hears the commotion. He calls out to his father, who is unable to answer back. He's losing oxygen. When he arrives at the library to help his father, it's too late. The scene then switches to his home, where we meet his wife Maya and his daughter Zora. Darius arrives home without his father and delivers the terrible news. He tells his family he's going back out tomorrow to bury him alongside his mother. His wife doesn't want him to go because that cemetery is over 5 miles away. Darius insists it's the right thing to do and he doesn't want anyone to go with him. Before heading out, he checks the home's oxygen supply data and sees that it's been compromised. Before leaving, he gives Zora the book from her grandfather, but doesn't tell her that's how he died. Darius gets into the airlock and leaves to bury his father. We then hear a narration from Zora saying if she had known that this would be the last time she would see her father, she would have tried harder to go with him. She says she was 12 years old when the world went bad, and in a matter of months, oxygen levels went from 27% to 5%, and you couldn't go outside without a breathing device. She goes on to say lucky for them, Darius was an engineer and a survivalist, and he foresaw the world without oxygen and built a survival bunker in the middle of Brooklyn. Short time has passed since Darius disappeared, and Zora is going into a clothing store to find something to wear. That's when her mother comes in and angrily reminds her that they're supposed to be checking the systems. They run a few practice tests through the water filtration system to make sure Zora is ready to take over when she needs to. Then she talks on the radio like she does every day in hopes that her father may still be alive. At dinner, Zora says, "Tomorrow I'm gonna go look for Dad," but her mother says she's looked already and she needs to stay focused. Maya and Zora were outside talking when they spot 2 people arriving at their house. They hide behind a car and the woman hears their oxygen sensor. Maya then tackles the woman from behind, grabs her weapon, and they both run into the airlock. Maya talks to Tess through the surveillance system. She says she's a physicist and used to work with Darius at the college. She knows their names and says she came from a shelter about 100 miles away in Philadelphia, and there are 25 others there, some of them kids. She needs to look at the oxygen generator that Darius was working on so they can replicate it back where they're staying in Philadelphia, or everyone there will die. Zora talks her into letting her in, so Maya ties them up and decides to let the woman in by herself. Just then another man runs at them. They start shooting and bring him inside. After what's happened, Maya tells Tess she can't believe anything that she's saying, but Tess says she's sorry. "I need to see that machine, and I will see it, one way or another." Tess unties Lucas while Maya is patching up the intruder they shot. Zora's still trying to get her mother to help these people, then the security alert goes off. They've covered the cameras and began drilling the door. After they make it through the first armor plate, Zora says the drill must be battery powered. "I need a flashlight and copper wire." Zora makes a small device that short circuits the battery in the drill. Tess then goes to the roof to tamper with their ventilation system. The security system goes off again as Tess tears it apart. Maya then goes outside through the garage to try to stop them. Lucas sees the garage door go up and tries to warn Tess. When Tess gets down to Lucas, Maya's already on the roof undoing the damage, and now she's shooting at them. The oxygen levels return to normal inside while Tess plans to distract Maya so Lucas can sneak up behind her. The plan works, and at the same time Micah frees himself and attacks Zora. He ties her up but can't figure out how to work the security door. Outside they have Maya at gunpoint trying to persuade Zora, who they don't know is tied up, to open the door. Then Micah gets dizzy and passes out from the gunshot wound. She's able to grab a mask with a comm system in it to tell them that Micah is dead. Maya says she can't punch in the code without a key card and hers is inside, but there's another one close by. Maya and Tess get into her car. She tells Lucas to stay behind and asks where we're going. She tells her we're going to see my husband. After they head out, Tess wants to know if Darius is still alive, but Maya explains to him that the generator can really only support 2 people, and since he realized that, he left and sacrificed himself so that they would have more time to figure out how to make it work properly. Later, they arrive at Prospect Park where Maya finds Darius's body. She goes through his bag and takes his weapon and shows Tess the key card. Just then, the car shuts off and won't restart because the battery's dead. Since Maya's leg is still hurt, Tess wants the key card because they won't make it back walking if they both go. Maya makes her agree to take care of her daughter, then gives her the card. Tess makes it back. They use the key card and go upstairs. Zora wants to know where her mom is. Tess tells her that she's still alive and she needs to go back and get her, but Lucas forces her to work on the machine. After getting a closer look at the machine, she realizes she can't replicate it. Lucas is angry since he walked 3 days to get there. You said you knew the dad. He had to tell you something. She tells him that she lied. She didn't know him. She listened to the radio every day of Zora talking to her father and got all the information she needed to get here. She told him even if she could replicate the machine, it could only sustain 2 people. Then Lucas blows her away. He tells Zora, "You're going to show me how this place works." Still at Prospect Park, Maya wakes up from a dream she was having about Darius, and she looks at her sensor and sees she only has 52 minutes of oxygen left. She looks around and sees a plant growing and realizes there's more oxygen than usual. She removes her mask and takes a deep breath and puts it back on. She then attaches solar panels to the car's battery to try to get it started. At the same time, Lucas is out dumping the bodies. When he gets back, the security alert goes off and she tells him that the solar panel cables are starting to degrade and she needs to fix them. So he gives her 9 minutes worth of oxygen. Zora makes her way to the roof to repair the problem and restores the oxygen levels inside. Then she sees her mother on the roof. She was the one that disconnected the cable so that Zora would have to come out. They make a plan to take their home back, but first they have to get Lucas to open the door. She bangs on the door, but Lucas just watches her on the camera. She gives Zora her mask, disconnects the cable again while Zora plays dead by the door. Lucas comes out to investigate only to be shot by Maya. They take the key card and run into the airlock, but Lucas follows behind. They all get inside, but the hydrogen levels have risen too high. Zora tells him if he fires that weapon, the whole place is going to blow up and we all die. They get back in the airlock, but Lucas fires his weapon anyway and blows himself up. They get in a car and drive to Philadelphia to find this colony of people that are living in a subway. But by the time they reach the gate, they run out of oxygen and both pass out. Later, Maya awakens in a bed, and when she walks out of the room, she's greeted by a man that tells her that Zora told her everything that happened and that she fixed their oxygen generator. He was hoping that she would be able to help them with some of their new horticulture techniques that they've been developing. It switches to Zora's narration, where she says she's 16 and her life just changed again for the second time. But with their new friends and her mom's expertise, they think they can turn things around because tomorrow belongs to them.